So I get and I understand how the future has seemed to be very bleak for many Descendants fans out there because the future seems to be more uncertain than it ever has. But at least tonight, as part of the D23 Expo, we will have new information released about the upcoming future of Descendants and what it's going to detail. So when that information becomes available and it comes out, I will have it for you here on this show. You're going to have to bear with me because there are so many details that are often being released, so many sketchy details with that because it's very hard to decipher what the future may have in store. But what I can tell you is that this future is going to be something special for us all to have the chance to be a part of. Because if you've ever wanted to believe in a future for anything, any successful franchise that has had a lore and something to really appreciate about it, I think Descendants and Zombies has always been our answer because it's what brought us to the moment where we thought of being a fan of Disney and all things related to it was just simply the coolest feeling in the world. Who could never want to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies? That's my question to the universe, because I think there are people out there who are just continuously falling head over heels in love with whatever general aspect of this story that they've really come to appreciate, either because of a favorite character they may have, a favorite moment, all the predictions and theories that kind of come together to create something so special that brought us to this moment tonight where we're waiting on new details to be revealed about the future of both Descendants and Zombies for what will be the first time ever, because just a couple of days ago, Disney officially announced that Descendants Hidden Heroes have been greenlit and filming and production has commenced. So because filming and production has commenced, what we are beginning to believe in more is the ushering in of a new generation of talent, which is something really phenomenal to really take a chance on. We have the son of Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, the daughter of the genie Jenny making her premiere in the Descendants franchise, which will have such allure, because I always remember being a huge fan of Aladdin. I think every piece of Aladdin merchandise that a fan could ever possibly have, from pajamas to t-shirts to hoodies, I had them. One of my favorite characters from Aladdin was always the genie for how over-exuberant he always was, and how just appreciative he was of every moment he had the chance to spend around his friends. And who could blame him after being locked inside of a lamp in prison for over 10,000 years? For sure, it would give you such a crick in the neck, as he referred to it as, when he was first released. I think that his personality are characteristics that this new girl should exemplify when bringing his daughter to life for what will be the first time ever. And it's something I'm going to feel really intrigued about. I say this because I was always a fan of tales such as Aladdin and The Emperor's New Groove. I remember playing the video game Aladdin back in 1993. That was released about a year after the success of the movie, and I remember playing it for the first time ever, thinking I was having the time of my life, playing 10 levels of action where you played as Aladdin, and you pretty much role played the entire experience of Agrabah, and it was kind of really fun. I played both the Super Nintendo version and the Sega Genesis version, and then years after, I played Hercules and The Emperor's New Groove, which were some of the most realistic games of their generation for just how fun they were to play. I say this because these moments, you should always have a chance of experiencing these moments with your family, with your friends more often. And that's kind of why I wish Disney would kind of take it upon themselves to kind of have more opportunities for us to really cherish these moments and really allow us to become immersed and really bring these moments to life. And I think that's what Descendants Hidden Heroes is going to give us the chance to do. They are shooting this in a very beautiful location. They are not changing up the location, at least not yet. They are still filming it in British Columbia. And for those of you who have never been to British Columbia, take it from a guy who lives in Canada. It is a very beautiful place. It is very widely open concept. And I think they are really going to have the time of their life because many of them are going to be in BC for the first time ever. And I want to wish them all the best having said this. And I hope they have a very enjoyable and very memorable experience because what they are doing is they are really paving the groundwork for something special to be a part of. And I think we are all going to take something special away from this really life-changing experience because it's really going to allow them to turn a corner and come around that proverbial corner, which I think a lot of us really have had a dream of doing for a very long time. Because as I've said many times, this industry is very difficult to establish a name for yourself from within because of the result of so much competition. I remember when Sabrina Carpenter was first introduced to the Disney universe and people instantly fell in love with Sabrina Carpenter. And it was believed at that time, at that very moment, that nobody was ever going to take that position away from Sabrina Carpenter. But at this very moment, with so many people coming in as a part of this Descendants franchise, she is being challenged more than she ever has before. And I think the greatest challenge that Taylor Swift is faced with currently sits in the lap of Freya Sky. And I say this, there I go, I just said it. The reason why I said that was because Freya Sky is so well received by really thousands of people. Thousands of people love her dearly, if never millions. And there is an endless amount of love and support that keeps piling in for people like Freya Sky. And I think that people are really seizing the opportunities that people like Freya Sky are presenting them with to go out and attend the Stars Align World Tour, have the time of your life, and truly take something special away from every performance that Freya Sky gives. Because if anything, Freya Sky is giving up such a positive vibe in every performance that she gives, and she's really giving us something to really hold on to that I think many of us can take away a great deal of appreciation for. I've loved every moment that I've had the chance to talk about Freya Sky here on this show because I've seen so much potential in her abilities as a singer, for how she's putting such beautiful lyrics to beautiful melodies that I think far more people in this world can take something away to appreciate from. I think that at such a young age, when you can write such beautiful music and comprise such a beautiful EP, Stardust is selling millions of copies, and it's not very hard to figure out why. Stardust is selling millions of copies. It's because Freya Sky has become so well received, and she's become one of the most revered and honored artists in the world. You know, we see Taylor Swift up on stage accepting all these awards, from Grammys to Oscars, you name it. She's had Teen Choice Awards, everything possible, every accolade that an artist could have bestowed upon her. She's had successful world tours that has seen by 10 million people. And I think that Freya Sky can have the same thing happening for her. So too can Kylie Contrell. And how we make that happen for them is by continuing to believe in their stories just as much as we have even after all this time. I know this industry is becoming forever difficult to establish a name for yourself from within, but when you finally take a step back and really take time to appreciate what this industry has become, you will see value in their performances. You will see a tremendous amount of heart and dedication along with that. And I've just felt so proud to be here. From the debut of their YouTube channels, of course, where they used to review shows such as Sam and Cat, to singing covers of some of their favorite artists like Zendaya. It was really a beautiful opportunity because I knew they were really going to offer us something special. And we were always going to take something special away from every performance and every chance they ever had. Because when you think about somebody like Kylie Contrell, who was just 9 years old, when she had the chance to put off home concerts in front of her parents, there was really something so special to take away from that because she knew she wanted to be a superstar more than anything else in this world. And I will always remember how she got her first call up from Nickelodeon, and she turned down the opportunity Nickelodeon had offered her and her parents because she wanted to wait for a call from Disney. She looked at her parents and said, "We got to wait for Disney." And when she finally got the call from Disney, Disney offered her an incredible amount of opportunities that she really seized. And the same thing happened for Ruby Rose Turner because Ruby went on to appear on shows like Sabio Dojo and, of course, Coop and Cami Ask the World, which was kind of Disney's answer to iCarly, or at least that's what I believed it was going to be. While it may have never amounted to being Disney's answer to iCarly, it certainly challenged iCarly in a lot of ways. Now, why iCarly went on to become the most revered kids TV show really in history, definitely Coop and Cami Ask the World presented somewhat of a challenge because it really paved the groundwork for what Ruby Rose Turner will go on to become. And it's really such a nice feeling to see Ruby Rose Turner kind of returning with brand new music. I'm really excited about her new single. It's called Vanity, and this is going to be a new sound from Ruby Rose Turner that I think a lot of people are really going to find time in appreciating, and myself included, because I was always one of the biggest Ruby Rose Turner fans and supporters in this world. And seeing over 5.4 million people following her, I mean, who could blame them? She's incredibly talented. She's overflowing with, appreciation, and these moments are really worth taking in and really celebrating. And I think that that's why we're seeing so many new talents coming into the Descendants franchise for the first time ever that I am really excited about. And I think the summer of 2027, even with how big the summer of 2026 and the summers of 2025 have been, I think the summers of 2027 and 2028 are going to be huge because in the summer of 2027, we not only have Descendants Hidden Heroes happening, we have Zombies 5. And on the other side of the coin, in the following year, we have in 2028 Descendants 6, which is scheduled to be released. So there is going to be so much to really appreciate about the next 2 years. And I think we are in this for the long haul because there's no better way of experiencing these moments than by really having the chance to experience them together. Because I was kind of welcomed into this niche. How it happened for me, I was kind of randomly welcomed into this niche. I didn't really have a whole lot happening for myself or my career. And what you guys allowed me to do was kind of turn my career around and really, certainly most of all, turn my career around for the better. because I had the chance for the first time ever in my life to sit here for what became the rest of my life, talk about Descendants and zombies. And so many people fell in love with the concept, which was something I never really intended to do or have people do. They just chose this podcast because I could help them make sense of everything happening around them. I don't know why, for the life of me, people would choose to criticize Descendants and criticize the stars who have made up such a beautiful cast and really been presented with such a wonderful opportunity. Because I think it's really nice when you hear them referring to shooting Descendants as really summer camp, because you never know how much time you have to spend with each other and how you have to really learn to value and appreciate the time that you spend around each other. Ruby Rose Turner really put this into perspective really beautifully when she said that shooting Descendants was kind of like summer camp to her because she never knew how much time she was going to have to spend around people. And there was really something to value about that. And I really found time in appreciating everything Ruby Rose Turner had to say for PR she was doing at the time for some of her projects like Almost Popular. That's where she actually said this about summer camp, was when she was doing her PR for Almost Popular. And now she goes from Almost Popular to releasing a brand new single called Vanity, which I think is going to go on to be listened by millions of people because they are going to be forever supportive of her. And when it comes to Kylie Contrell, I mean, she really has so much happening for her. The next day following the premiere of the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide tour, we are going to see a brand new tour, a headline tour for Kylie Contrell comprised of over 15 tour dates. There are still tickets available for this one really across the board. And I think if you are a Kylie Contrell fan who has never seen Kylie Contrell live and in concert, this is an incredible opportunity for you to come out and show so much love and support from her. And that's what I can get from her solo version of Carrie Bradshaw, her acoustic version of that single. Both the original and the acoustic version of this single are nothing short of phenomenal. And it really reintroduces us to Kylie Contrell for the person that she is. And there really is something so special to take away from a person who is kind of reintroducing herself to really all of us, because who she's always been is Disney for over 10 years. So she's always been Disney for over 10 years, but who is Kylie Control behind everything that she's represented? So finally she's able to shed that skin kind of thing and kind of really step into her own. And I think that because she's stepping into her own, there really is something to forever and always appreciate about how she's kind of stepping into her own and beginning to feel more comfortable with her surroundings. And I think more of us can kind of find time in really appreciating what she's become. And this is the reason why all these stars from Hidden Heroes are drawing so much inspiration from the powerful music, the powerful stories, the powerful characters that she's represented. While many of them may have only been recurring roles on shows like Raven's Home and Berserk, it really set her up to become a part of something so spectacular. These phenomenal productions such as Descendants and Zombies, which we all took a great deal of inspiration away from. I mean, I don't know anybody out there who is not a fan of Descendants and Zombies. That's something I really come to appreciate about this niche, is how forever supportive you are of people like myself who just love to sit here for hours on top of hours and talk about Descendants and Zombies. I mean, who wouldn't want to have this conversation with people every night? And I really wish more people would kind of take themselves up in the opportunity to kind of shed some light, give the spotlight to where the spotlight is obviously deserved, which just happens to be everything related revolving around Descendants and Zombies. It's so cool and such a wonderful feeling to have. And now rumors have begun circulating online that Chloe Charming is going to be one of the familiar faces that are going to be making a cameo in Descendants Hidden Heroes for the first time ever, providing assistance to some of the students at Sidekick Academy, which is a really cool name for an academy to have. I'm wondering if we're going to kind of come upon Oregon University, which was referenced in some of the Descendants movies. But I'm wondering if we're actually going to pay a visit to Oregon University, or there's going to be a TV spin-off series called Oregon produced, because that was something I was kind of aiming for, was a TV series called Oregon that could focus on some characters that may have never been given the greater appreciation and or spotlight in the Descendants franchise. That would be kind of really interesting to see kind of come into fruition. And I think a lot of people would take away a great deal of appreciation for what would happen if we were revealed to Oregon University or a TV series spinoff, kind of like Oregon. It would be a live action. That would be kind of really cool. I remember how the genie had a descendant. Her name was Jordan. So I really appreciate how Disney has kind of taken it one step further with his descendant and kind of changed it up. Now he's not only got Jordan, he's also got Jenny. So I guess he's got both of them. So I think this story could be extended into just more than one movie, because again, I've often said, how can you tell a story in just one installment? You really can't. That is the simple answer. So I think a second or a third movie of the Descendants story, Hidden Heroes, would be kind of cool. I think a second spin-off called Twisted Travel, which is a rumor at this very moment, nothing more. But I think it would be kind of really cool if we not just had one spin-off, but we had a second one with a different name, different characters, because this is, and I just want to say this too. I really hope that Disney keeps on coming out with these spin-off series because that will allow more of an expansion opportunity than probably ever before, and something for us all to really seize and take full advantage of. Because can you imagine how high the conversation would be, what kind of point the conversations would get to, and what kind of point those conversations would reach if we had spin-off series after spin-off series and this expansion, ride we've been on, this roller coaster ride, which for sure has seen its ups and downs. But can you imagine what point the conversations would get to if we just kept on seeing spin-offs that were separate from the original Descendant stories? Either the original story, the story of the new generation, which is coming upon its conclusion, but even though it's coming upon its conclusion, I really believe, I would venture a guess that there being far too many people out there who have never wanted to say goodbye, who have never been ready to let go. And I've kind of reiterated that you never have to feel alone because there are people out there in this world who feel the exact same way, who have always taken something special away from their favorite characters, their favorite moments in these stories that they've forever cherished and always appreciated, myself included, because I was always a fan of the originals. I was the biggest fan of Dove Cameron there ever could have been out there in this world. I'm an even bigger fan of Kylie Cantrell. It's really hard for me to choose between any of my favorite characters because I've been forever supportive of them. Some of my all-time favorites would have to be Dove Cameron. Ruby Rose Turner probably comes in at second because her character Bridget really put a stronger exemplification on just how much further kindness can take a person in this lifetime and how much of a profound impact kindness can really have on a person's heart and soul, because you never seem to know how much further your simplest acts of kindness can really take you in this lifetime until you try your hand at showing somebody a little bit of extra kindness, which really goes a long way. I think another one of my favorites would have to be Leomani Segura's character, Pink, because Pink obviously was someone who chose to see the good in everybody, which was something I really admired about her, because she is someone who is forever strong. She is incredibly talented, but she is forever strong. She has inspired me to become a full-time podcast host for all things Descendants of Zombies. She's inspired me to become involved and do more with my own life than I ever thought possible, because the last thing that I thought I would be doing here in 2026 would come back after 18 years and host a podcast that would go on to become everybody's chosen favorite, which means more to me than words could ever say. The thing you've got to understand about me is with me, what you've seen is what you've always gotten. And there's always something to appreciate about how with me, what you've seen is what you've always gotten, because I love commentating. I just don't love recording reaction videos. I love commentating. And I've seen more value in how a person can commentate. If you can commentate, I think you should. But how a person can commentate really allows them to tell a story and even become more a believer in the stories they're sharing than probably ever given credit for. And that's what makes this whole opportunity worth living through for somebody like me. Thank you so much for always having chosen this podcast as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. We have a whole lot more of a conversation yet to happen here on this YouTube channel as we wait for future details to come out on the future of Descendants of Zombies, which are expected to drop from the two-day event, the D23 2026 Expo, which there is something really special to take away from. I remember last year and how appreciative they were of having Descendants Wicked Wonderland announced in the summer of 2026 or 2025, and then they began filming it. And it may have taken them a year, but it brought us to this moment where Wicked Wonderland went on to become the number one most watched movie on Disney Plus. And what do you think that is? Again, it comes back to your love and support for people such as myself, who you've allowed to be a part of this niche in this world, really this story for quite some time. And I can never seem to say thank you enough to all of you for really welcoming me in and being forever appreciative of everything I've had to say and everything I've had to share. Having said this, thank you so much for always holding a very special place in your heart for all things related to Descendants of Zombies and for always having the time to have watched and appreciated all of these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I would love more than anything for you to become a part of these conversations, because I know you have something incredible and really far out there probably to offer to these conversations, like millions already have, because they've seen the good and they've obviously seen the potential far more than I ever could in the videos that I've created that we could have only ever created together. So on this beautiful evening that we have in front of us, I would love for you to feel more encouraged than you ever have about the future happening for all of your favorites. And I've just felt more than honored to be here to have the chance to experience all of this that only could have ever happened for a guy such as myself, who never really had a whole lot happening for him before Descendants of Zombies became a very valued part of his very existence. Thank you so much for always having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite and for always having the time to have watched and appreciated all of these videos.